At all times and throughout the world, great men have made history from the ideas they advocated. For some, their ideology crossed history in a cyclical context, and for others, such as MLK, their thought evolve and still evolve over time in space to the point where we under our Martin Luther King's dreams carry on today in the community where we live. A closer look at the community today allows us to see the way and the viability of Martin Luther King's dreams. Several decades after the death of MLK, our community has a thirst for justice. Can we really talk of justice in a community where justice is slow to act towards certain people? Powerful and rich people think that they are above the law. This form of justice will surely have made MLK react to protests and peaceful marches to ask for a change or a reform at the level of justice. MLK was against these abuses of power and delivered fair justice to all, regardless of their position in the community. The evil that was gnawing over past generations and was costing death to many people was racism. The world is changing day after day, and nobody talks about this phenomenon in the past because it's still part of our lives. Racism paralyzes our society. The recent demonstrations across the streets to say no to racism remind us of the time of MLK. As MLK say, racism has no reason to be in society where all men are brothers. All men aspire to the same needs for well-being. We must continue to exert pressure on the state through fair demands to eliminate this phenomenon of racism that prevents a society from evolving. The role of the state is to protect all its citizens. It must guarantee security and social justice for all. It must also guarantee social peace and fair opportunities. The state must also guarantee a certain degree of economic and intellectual sufficiency to its citizens. How to understand the policy of the state at the higher education level compared to its policy of education at the primary, elementary, and secondary levels. School children can enter primary and secondary school without any restrictions. The parents are relieved, but for the university, the recruitment policy is different with many monetary requirements. By the way, access is easier for rich people than poor people. To master this policy, poor students must complete applications for financial assistance, for financial loans, and for scholarship. Students must demand from the state a university education policy that gives everyone the same chance of access. The state will ensure a certain balance at community level. The community seems to be undergoing change over time and space, but some of the problems of the past still remain, such as racism, the slowness of justice towards certain people, partisan social justice, and inequality of opportunity to reach the highest level of education. All these problems create an imbalance in the community. The people still use multiple peaceful or violent marches to demand justice and to say no to racism. If the state exists, it's to manage the system and to prevent these social pitfalls. If the state does not care to deal with this problem, the community will always remember MLK's dream and will use its forms of protest to ask better treatment. Thank you, everybody.